Today we're practicing a Vinyasa flow and mindfulness meditation. So really combining the sort of more stillness and subtle elements of mindfulness with the more dynamic movement of Vinyasa yoga. I'm Irene, a yoga and mindfulness teacher, bringing you different yoga, mindfulness, and breathing practices. And this is the first time I'm trying one of these combination classes of mindfulness and yoga together. So if you like that, do let me know, and I can make a few more of these practices for the future. So we're beginning the practice in a cross-legged position. If the hips are feeling a little tighter, and if the knees are raising up a little above the hips, then I really recommend just finding some sort of cushion or support to rest the hips on. And that way you just give the space to really allow the knees to drop down. So resting hands on thighs, and then just gently closing your eyes. So once the eyes are closed, really bringing awareness to your hips, the weight dropping down to the ground or into your support. And then at the same time, finding that length and openness with the upper body. So by just allowing head and shoulder to stack above the hips, just give the space for the bones to stack. And you can be allowing also this nice long spine, so sitting up tall in your position. Hands resting just heavily on your thighs. And then really finding that softness around the eyes and around the mouth. And also seeing if you can relax around your belly. Shoulders are relaxed here. And then from this position, you can be just tuning in towards your body. So at first, really bringing awareness to the fact that you're breathing. Seeing maybe if you can feel sensations of the breath moving through the nose. Maybe feeling air slightly cooler as you breathe in and slightly warmer as you breathe out. You might feel the belly moving or the chest as you breathe in and out. Just tuning into that movement related to your natural breath. And seeing if you can really try to watch your natural breath without changing it in any way. Noticing how fast or slow the breathing is right now. And also becoming aware of how deep or shallow the breath is. And you can just be in your own time lengthening and deepening the breath now. And really imagining that you're breathing down to your toes and up to the top of your head. And just tuning into any differences perhaps between your inhale and your exhale. And as best as you can, allowing both to be equal and deep. Just continue to sit here in stillness, having that awareness on watching the breath. And seeing if just for the next minute or so, you can do your best to stay here and watch your breath. Really being curious with each new breath as it enters the body. And perhaps also becoming aware of the beginning, middle, and end of each breath. And as we just stay here a little longer, still maintaining that length through the spine and that softness in the face and the shoulders. Staying here another 3 rounds of slow and steady breath. So at the end of the next exhale, you can either keep the eyes closed a little longer if you like here, or if you're feeling ready already, you can come with a nice soft gaze. And we'll begin now moving into our Vinyasa flow, but trying to keep that quality of mindfulness and awareness as we move through the practice. So you can continue sitting a little longer. Really extend the fingertips out away from the body. Palms start to spin up, and on the inhale, start to reach the arms up and over the head. And on the exhale, lower the arms all the way back down again. Inhale again, reaching the arms up and over. And on the exhale, lower the arms slowly back down. And doing this 3 more times, moving with your breath. So that might mean that your movement is slightly faster or slower than mine. But you're just finding your own steady rhythm, linking that breath with movement. Reaching the arms once more up and over the head. This time just pausing here. Arms stay nice and long, but shoulders stay relaxed. And then on the exhale, lower slowly the arms all the way back down again. And then from here, you can come away from your seat and over onto the hands and knees. So from the hands and knees, we're going to be doing some cat-cow movement with the spine. If knees are sensitive, you could place a blanket or towel under the knees. Spread the fingers wide as you turn your gaze to look down in front of your mat. And then on the inhale, you can start to arch the spine, gaze a little forward. And on the exhale, rounding the spine and dropping the head down. Inhale again, arching the spine, allowing the chest to lift up. And exhale, rounding and dropping the head down. And just doing this a few more times. moving with your breath. Being mindful yourself of how fast or slow you make these movements. And then on your next exhale, one last time starting to round, and then coming back to your neutral position. We'll, from here, reach the right foot up, reaching the right foot up and back, again arching through the spine. Exhale, knee comes into the chest again, rounding. We'll just repeat this again a few times, moving with the breath. Just noticing if the fingers are slipping up. You really want to keep the fingers spreading wide, grounding particularly through that index finger and thumb. And then the next time you reach that right leg up, just pausing a moment here. Exhale, knee comes through the chest, right foot steps between the hands. And then from here, coming to your Anjaneyasana, your low lunge. So you can come up slowly with the upper body, reach the arms on your inhale up and over the head. Really ground through your right big toe and top of the left foot. Staying here, 2 more breaths. And then on your exhale, you can lower the hands down. And from here, coming back to your hands and knees at once more. Changing sides. So this time on your inhale, left leg reaches up and back. Exhale, left knee comes into the chest as you round the spine. Inhale again, reach that left leg nice and high. And exhale, drawing the knee into the chest. Again, start to move back and forth with your own breath here. And then the next time you reach that left leg high, just pausing a moment here. And then draw the knee through the chest, left foot steps forward. And on your inhale, start to reach again up through the arms. Really allowing spine to stay long. Arms to reach nice and high. Staying one more breath. And then exhale, hands come down, transitioning back to your hands and knees. We'll come from here to a child's pose. So knees can come a little wider, big toes together. Sinking the forehead down as arms reach out in front. And just taking a moment to reconnect with your breath. Staying here, one more breath. And then slowly, on your next inhale, you can transition back through hands and knees. And from here, we'll come to downward dog. So tucking the toes under, pressing the hips on your inhale up and back. Finding your way into that downward dog. And it might feel nice to pedal the legs, so you can bend the right knee a little deeper. Left leg starts to lengthen. And then on the exhale, change sides. And then just doing this a few times from side to side. You can keep the head nice and soft here. Again, finding that connection with the palms and your mat. And then on your next inhale, just walking both feet slowly forward to the front. So these can be a little bent here if you need. Then we'll just pause with the feet hip distance apart, hold the opposite elbows. and letting the weight of the head hang. Rocking from here, if you like, a little from side to side. If there is any tension in those hamstrings, just allowing knees to bend. Staying here 2 more breaths. And then if you're still rocking, slowly coming back to the center, releasing the arms. Inhale from here, rolling all the way up to your standing position. We'll do a few sun salutations. So feet can be together or slightly apart. Inhale from here, circle the arms high as you look up. And exhale, slowly fold forward, bend here the knees as you need. Inhale, now lengthen halfway up. Again, arms can be lifting here. Exhale, drop the hands down and stepping back to your plank pose. From the plank, you can lower the knees, chin and chest to the mat. Inhaling, coming forward to your cobra pose. And exhaling back to your downward dog. Downward dog is not appropriate. Other option is to drop the knees down, or maybe you just feel like having child's pose instead of downward dog. So staying either in downward dog or child's pose for 2 more breaths. If you are in child's pose, you can come back on your inhale to your downward dog. Step or hop to the front of the mat, so the knees can bend as you do this. Opening the chest halfway up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms up as you gaze up. And exhale, lower the hands down in front of the heart. Inhale again, arms come high as you look up. Exhale to fold over the legs. Inhale, lengthen through the chest. And exhaling back to your plank. Your choice, drop the knees or lower chaturanga. Inhaling, upward dog. And exhaling back to your downward dog. Again, if your body prefers, you can drop the knees, be back in your child's pose. And bringing the focus to your breath. Staying here 1 more breath. And then bending the knees on the inhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. Opening the chest halfway up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, arms come high, look up. And exhale, lower the hands all the way down. We'll do 1 last round. Inhaling as you reach the arms nice and high. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, lengthen through the front of the body. Exhale, hands might be in front as you step or hop back. Lower down on your exhale. Inhaling, upward dog. And exhale back to your downward dog. Staying here, we're all in child's pose. Noticing how the body is feeling. And staying here 2 more breaths. You are in child's pose, coming back to downward dog. Inhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. Open the chest halfway up, and on the exhale, start to fold forward. Reach the arms high on your inhale, and exhale, lower the hands all the way back down again. So we're going to come to balance on the left leg, right foot coming to the tree pose. So the heel could come onto the left foot. You could bring the foot a little higher. So foot is avoiding the knee here. Or if you like, maybe using the help of the hand here to lift that foot. Now, left big toe stays heavy. If you start to wobble, just find as best as you can the balance and bring the hands together in front of the heart. Or if you prefer, reaching the arms up and over the head. So just by gazing at that small point on the floor, this can really support your balance here. If you want to challenge the balance, you might start to close the eyes and see how that affects your balance. If you're quite comfortable in the pose. Staying here, one more breath. And then slowly on the exhale, lowering the hands down, releasing from here your right foot and changing sides, so steadying that right leg. Left foot comes to your tree pose. Again, your choice, which version you want to come to today. Ground through that right big toe. Again, if the wobble starts, just try to be as stable and focused as you can. Hands can start to come up on that next inhale. So really allowing that right foot to stay heavy as you lift up through the upper body. Staying here, one more breath. Exhaling, hands come down as you start to lower that left foot down. And if you like, just take that moment to shake the legs. Right. Coming back again then to the front of the mat. Sit this time low with the hips and reach the arms high, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhaling, lengthening through the chest. Exhaling back either to downward dog, or you can come again to your plank. So your choice if you want to lower through the vinyasa, moving slowly with your breath and meeting back in that downward dog. Inhaling this time, right leg lifts high up and back. Exhale, draw the right knee into the chest, weight comes forward. Step that right foot between the hands. Left hand stays on the ground as you twist now to the right, reaching that right arm up. Allowing as best as you can that left leg to be long, so left heel is pressing back. Hips are relatively low here. Staying here, one more breath. And then exhale, right hand grounds down. This time we ground through that left heel and come up towards a warrior one pose. So you want your hips to be facing the front of the mat. Arms reach high on your inhale. Gaze can be looking softly down or slightly up. And then on your exhale, open the arms out to your warrior two pose. So we're going to come to reverse warrior. Right palm lifts on your next inhale. Exhale, start to reach the upper body back whilst keeping that right knee deeply bent. If it's comfortable, you can gaze up with the eyes. Staying here, one more breath. And then inhale, come back through your warrior two. Now exhale, straighten right leg. Coming to triangle pose. So right arm coming down, left arm lifts. Keep creating that space by lengthening the spine and allowing the shoulders to stack as you gaze up to that left arm. Staying here, one more breath. Inhale from here, coming back to your warrior two. Exhale, lower all the way down. So your choice if you step to your downward dog, or if you prefer to lower chaturanga here. Either moving through vinyasa or staying in downward dog. Inhaling now, left leg reaches high up and back. Exhale, draw the knee into the chest, weight comes forward. Left foot steps forward, and then we're going to twist to the left. So left arm reaching up, gazing up here. Really ground through your right heel, press the right heel back. As you reach the crown of the head forward to the front of the mat. Staying here, one more breath. Exhale, left hand comes down, you drop your right heel, and from here coming up to your warrior one pose. You need just transitioning, finding that stability through your feet. And then exhale, open the arms out for your warrior two pose. Great. Now left arm is going to spin up on your next inhale. Exhale, reversing the warrior. The arms, upper body coming back. Left knee still coming to the front. You can soften the face and soften your breath. And then slowly transitioning through your warrior two. And from here coming to your triangle pose, Trikonasana. So left arm coming down, right arm coming up. There's often a tendency for the kind of chest to puff out, belly to relax here. See if you can keep that little bit of tension in the belly. As you gaze up to your right hand. Staying here, one more breath. And then inhaling from here, coming back to your warrior two. Exhale, circle down, step back, downward dog, or lower chaturanga. And then you can stay a few breaths, downward dog, or drop the knees, child's pose. Staying here for one more breath. Using, if you're in the child's pose, the next breath to come to your downward dog. Stepping or hopping to the front of the mat. So even if you just hop a little, you can kind of make your way slowly in a playful way to the front. Open the chest halfway up, and on the exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms come high as we sit low with the hips. So we're coming to that Utkatasana chair pose. And then straighten the legs and lower the arms back down again. So we're going to come to balance in the dancer pose. So you want your left leg grounded here. Right foot starts to lift up, and you're holding the right ankle inside or outside with your right hand. So you can first kind of reset, knees come nice and close, reaching the left arm up on your inhale, press the right foot into the hand, and then you're really focusing on allowing that right shoulder to lift up, right foot to kick back as you maybe start to lean a little forward. Now, this is one of those poses where there really is a tipping point. So just see if you can challenge yourself to come just before that tipping point. If you start to wobble and fall out, you can just come back slowly into the pose. And then gradually on that next inhale, coming all the way back up. And exhale, releasing and shaking the leg. Changing sides. So right leg is the grounded leg, nice and heavy. Left foot reaches back, holding the ankle with that left hand. Now bring the knees first together. Reach on your inhale up with your right arm, and then see if you can kick left foot into the left hand whilst you start to also slowly lean forward with the right arm and the upper body. Again, if you start to wobble, just see if you can stay with the wobble. Ground through your right big toe. And then when you're ready, coming all the way back up, and exhale, release. Shaking from here the legs. Great. Feet can be a little wider, toes spinning out to the side. From here, we'll use the inhale to circle the arms up, palms coming together. Exhale, hands come down, and we start to lower all the way down with the hips. And then on the inhale, come all the way back up again. Exhale, sinking down, and you can just sink down a little, or if it's comfortable, sink a little lower, and then press into the feet as you come up on your inhale. Doing this a few times. And maybe experimenting with how much the toes spin out so you can see what works for you. Fantastic. And we'll do this 2 more times. And if you're feeling a bit stuck when you come low, you could always use the fingers also to come back up. And now this time that we come low, we're going to sink low and pause here. So elbows might come a little closer. You might start to rock a little from side to side. We'll stay here a couple more breaths. So if it's the case that the hips are a little higher, but the heels are lifted, that's also fine. So just seeing what works for your body during this practice. And then if you are still making those movements, you can become a little bit more still. Bring the hands behind, hips sink down. And then we're going to face the long side of the mat and reach the legs nice and wide. Now, this position sometimes can feel a little challenging to sit upright if the hips are a little tight. So you can always just sit on some sort of cushion or towel. Or alternatively, there's the option to slightly bend the knees or bring the legs a little bit more in, and over time, working more on opening out to the side. When you're sitting nice and comfortably, you can use the inhale to reach both arms up and over the head. Exhale, right arm comes to the right, rest on the right leg, left arm reaching over to the right. Inhale, come back through the center. Exhale, leaning to the left side. And then you can again start to move a few times from side to side here. So really allowing on that inhale, arms to lengthen, spine to lengthen. Exhale to lean to the side. And then again, moving back and forth with your own breath. Really feeling free to pick your own rhythm. And then the next time that you lean to the right, we're going to pause here in the pose. So Right arm can be resting again on that right leg, left arm reaching over. And you can stay here, or you can start to spin the chest a little up and then maybe drop the right shoulder down. So there's this kind of feeling of leaning forward, but also spinning the chest back. So it's not the object to just reach the foot and face forward, but more this feeling of creating space also through the whole side of the rib cage. Staying here, one more breath. And then inhaling, coming up. Exhale, slowly making your way to the other side. Now this side might feel different. You can play a little bit here with what feels okay. Just don't forget your right leg. So right hip, right leg wants to stay active. Really creating that space through the right side of the torso for the breath. And then coming up on your inhale and exhale, lower the arms back behind. And from here, you can just slowly bring the legs together and come to lie down on the back. So from the back, you can be hugging the knees to the chest and rocking the knees a little from side to side. Maybe making circles with the knees in one direction. And then just circling the knees the opposite way. And then just pausing, knees hugging in, arms wrapping around the legs. So transitioning from here to our lying mindfulness practice, we'll be doing a short body scan. So you can either be here with the soles of the feet on the mat, knees up, maybe arms alongside the body, or you could come with the feet outstretched in front. So for that classic Shavasana, feet falling open, palms facing up. If the room is a little colder, you might choose to just grab a blanket or a jumper. So as we'll lay here in stillness, it is quite normal that the body temperature will start to drop. So first, really finding that connection, the body against the ground. And seeing if you can let go. So if there's any tension, any sort of holding of the body, really allowing that to release and trusting the ground beneath you to hold you. Bringing slowly the awareness back to your breathing. And then you can slowly draw the focus down to the tips of your toes. Maybe first seeing if you can feel your big toes, the little toes, and the toes in between. Noticing perhaps the temperature, if it feels slightly warmer or cooler. Maybe feeling sensations, air against the skin or clothes against the skin. Drawing focus now to the bottom of your feet, so feeling balls of the feet, heels connected to the ground, and also noticing inner arch, and perhaps feeling the soles of the feet as a whole area. Now bringing awareness to the tops of your feet, Slowly scanning without moving the feet if you can. So you're trying to bring the awareness there whilst keeping the body still. And then from here, really bringing the focus of the whole foot. So from the toes, soles of the foot, top of the foot, and holding that in your awareness. Now letting go of the feet and bringing the attention towards your ankles. From the ankles, we'll start to scan further up the legs. So feeling the calves at the back of the lower leg and the shins at the front side. Moving up to your knees. So feeling back of the knees, front of the knees, inside and outside of the knees. And if you are just noticing, by the way, that the focus is somewhere else and away from the body, just knowing that's really what this practice is all about. So we're learning to hold our awareness on different parts of the body. And those moments where the focus moves away, we just use that as a reminder to come back to this body scan practice. So if you just lost track a moment, just kindly drawing the focus back to your knees. And then continuing to scan up the body. So feeling the back of your thighs, the hamstring area, and then in the front of the thighs, around the quadriceps. And seeing if you can now just feel both legs as a whole. So right from the ankles all the way up to the top of the thighs. And then just leaving the legs behind as you transition your focus up to your hips. So you might really find that connection with the sitting bones and the hips resting into the ground. And then just scanning around the whole of your pelvis. So from the back of the buttocks all the way around to the front area of the pelvis. Feeling also front of your hips, hip flexors. And then moving the focus away from the hips and the pelvis. And drawing now the focus to your lower back. So noticing if the lower back is connected to the ground or slightly away from the ground. Feeling middle, outside of the back, the lower back. And then slowly from the lower back, scanning up to the middle back. Noticing any sensations that are present there. And if some of these areas it's hard to connect with, don't worry too much, just do your best. Maybe just feeling a slightly larger area if it's harder to break down into these smaller areas. So continuing up from the middle part of the back to the upper back. So here we start to come in contact also with the back of the shoulders. And this whole area of the back can be an area where we sometimes feel tension. So seeing if there's any way that you can just relax and soften the whole of the back. And just scanning from here right up to the top of your shoulders. We're now going to come to the front side of the body. So for a moment, dropping the focus back to the front of the hips. And then starting to become aware of your lower belly. Feeling the whole area of the lower belly. Maybe noticing movement of your breath. Or other sensations in the belly. Maybe the belly is feeling full or a little empty. And then you can be bringing that focus from the lower belly up towards the upper part of the belly. And from here up to your rib cage. Gradually scanning up, maybe feeling movements of the breath around your ribs. And then you can start to bring the awareness up to the front of your chest and front of the shoulders. From here, we're going to drop the attention down to the fingertips. So feeling all 10 of your fingers. Again, seeing if you can do this without moving the fingers. So just bringing that awareness there. Moving further up to the palms of the hands, the backs of the hands. Feeling from here then your wrist area. And then further moving up the arms, so feeling the lower part of the arms, inside and outside. Moving past the wrists, up to the elbows, and then up through the arms a little further till you meet your shoulders. And again, if you notice the attention has been swept away from the body scan, just gradually bringing it back again to the shoulder area. And then from the shoulders now, we're going to move a little further up the body. So moving the focus to the neck, feeling back of the neck and the throat. And then moving up to the chin, feeling the cheeks, noticing the mouth area, tongue inside the mouth. And then passing further up the nose, around the eyes, up past the forehead. And finally, bringing the focus around the back of the head and up to the crown of the head. And then from here, just allowing the breath to deepen, and breathing down from the crown of the head, out to the fingertips, and down to the tips of the toes. Seeing if you can bring awareness now to the body as a whole. Really feeling the body as one whole area. And then as you start to breathe a little deeper, we'll also start to bring some small movement back to the body. So wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, Maybe circling the ankles and the wrists, just keeping that movement nice and slow. And then if you like, you can bend the knees, maybe reach the arms overhead, just stretching the body as you take a deep breath or a yawn. And then you can roll in your own time onto one side and find your way slowly up to a seated position. So just keeping that movement slow, maybe choosing to still keep the eyes closed or allowing the eyes to open as you slowly bring your focus back towards your surroundings once more. Namaste. So thanks so much for joining. I hope it was helpful, this real integration of mindfulness and movement through Vinyasa Yoga. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this. Also give the video a thumbs up to give me an indication of whether I should make more videos like this, as well as subscribing to the channel if you'd like to stay in touch with the practices I'm going to be sharing in the future. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.